right, let's get started. Welcome to episode 1 of Monkeys with Mouths. Welcome to episode 1. I'm pumped to do this. I'm pumped to be their host. As always, I'm Colin Chen. In today's episode is going to be an interesting one. So I bet you've heard a lot in these last couple of days about Bill Gates, about cryptocurrencies, about Dogecoin, of course, about the US dollar, the economy, coronavirus. As always, we're going through coronavirus right now. And so today's episode kind of just combines all of those. It combines all of them. And today's episode is on the Great Reset. Maybe some of you have heard about it, maybe some of you haven't, but the Great Reset is going to be the topic of today. It's a super interesting topic. It's super interesting. It is just, there's lots of conspiracies on it, there's lots of debates on it, there's lots of supporting it, lots of stuff against it. It's just a very, very hot topic right now. And if you know people like Alex Jones, he's been talking about it for the past 15 or 10 years, not 15 years, but past 10 years. You have all these rich people, Bill Gates, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez with her Green New Deal, Joe Biden with Build Back Better, Justin Trudeau with Build Back Better. I bet you've heard bits and pieces of it, but you haven't heard of the full thing. So what is the Great Reset? So the Great Reset is the topic of the World Economic Forum this year, January 2021. It's where all these rich people, I'll get more detail into it. I'm just going to gloss over what the Great Reset is. So the Great Reset, it is a set of agendas that these people at the World Economic Forum want to enact to help the world, to help the economy, the ecology, the earth, global warming, starvation. But I'm going to read this directly from the World Economic Forum. It says, the Great Reset. There is an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of the COVID-19 virus. To improve the state of the World Economic Forum is starting the Great Reset initiative. And so this is what they say. They say it is a great opportunity. As we enter this unique window of opportunity to shape the recovery, this initiative will offer insight to help inform all of those determining the future state of global relations, the direction of national economies, the priorities of societies, the nature of business models, and the management of global commons. Drawing from the vision and vast expertise of the leaders engaged across the World Economic Forum communities, the Great Reset Initiative has been a set of dimensions to build a new social contract that honors the dignity of every human being. This sounds amazing. On the outside, this sounds incredible. Like, just fixing everything, improving the economy, improving the world, improving the countries that we live in. It sounds great. It sounds great, right? But let's dive deep into this. It's super interesting. Okay, so as we mentioned, it is a set of agendas to fix the world during the coronavirus, to fix the economy. And so this they want to reset global capitalism. It is a agenda that they have. They want to reset global capitalism. So capitalism, according to the World Economic Forum itself, shareholder capitalism is the form of economy that we have right now, right? You're used to it. Maybe some of you buy stocks. When you buy stock, usually if the company does well, the stock will rise and you will earn a profit off of that stock. So that's basically what shareholder capitalism is. The social responsibility of the business is to increase its profits by short-term profit maximization as the highest good. That is what we have right now, and I'm pretty sure it's benefiting me right now, and it's benefiting many other people, and it's benefiting the United States of America right now. It's taking a huge hit because of the coronavirus and because of the lockdowns and because of government enacted policies, not due to the free market. But okay. Stakeholder capitalism, which is they want to reset global capitalism because they don't think that this is doing enough. They don't think that capitalism as we know it right now is doing enough to fix the country, to fix the world. They think that, hey, we need to change this. The COVID-19 has shown that global shareholder capitalism is flawed. It has many issues, and we have to fix it, right? We have to fix it. Reset capitalism because it's shown to be ineffective during the coronavirus. It has exposed the inconsistencies and vulnerabilities of capitalism. So they want to change it to stakeholder capitalism. This is according to World Economic Forum, right? All stakeholders matter equally. So society's goal is increase the well-being of people on the planet and the planet. And they want to focus on long-term value creation and ESG measures. That was from Klaus Schwab and from the Davos Manifesto. Okay, so let's break down what stakeholder capitalism means. So stakeholder capitalism is basically where these governments and these multinational corporations take a larger role in each private person's life. What it is the push of, let's see, it's the push of equal outcome, not equal opportunity, but equal outcome. These people think that equal opportunity is flawed. They think equal outcome, and whenever you hear about equal outcome, you know what that sounds like? That sounds a little bit like communism, just a little bit like communism. Yes, so before I'm sorry, this is my first podcast, you gotta bear with me. I'm gonna be jumping around a little bit. I'm gonna try to focus on the important aspects. I don't feel like I gave enough background to what the World Economic Forum is. So the World Economic Forum is a what would you call it? You call it a group of people, a event. It's an event that happens every single year in Davos. I bet you've heard Davos. Davos is a city. It's a city in Switzerland, and it's where these huge, rich elites go to meet up and talk about pretty much anything. They can talk about the economy, they can talk about global warming, they can talk about new inventions, they can talk about policies, they can talk about many things, many things, except taxation. Taxation is something it's something that you do not talk about. You do not mention, you do not talk about, because these people, they're the elites. Okay. Who are some people that are part of the who go to the World Economic Forum? Let's see. So the World Economic Forum, these people, let me name some off the top of my head. I'm going to look up the source just to have it right here. But some people, Bill Gates, Barack Obama. This year they had Xi Jinping. They've had Bill Clinton. They've had Warren Buffett. They've had Greta Thunberg. They've had Bollywood stars. They've had climate activists. They've had so Davos numbers. Okay, they've had 119 billionaires, 53 heads of state, and an 8.3 million security bill. Look at Davos by the number. That's wild. This Trump attendees include even Donald Trump. This was in 2020, I believe, or 2019. This is just like a list. J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon, Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg. They've had, let's see, U.S. Deputy Undersecretary of Commerce for International Trade and Foreign Policy. I'm reading this article right now, and they say it. Where was it? I think it said they lack African American has insufficient representation of African and Asian markets. That's pretty funny. They have German chancellors, just lots of elite people, like lots of billionaires, bankers, investors. It cost, I think it was either $20,000 or $28,000 just to be able to get in there. So you're already paying a high price to get in there. Not to mention that they have these badges. This is a side note. This is kind of sketchy. I'm not gonna lie. This is just a little bit sketchy. They have different tiers, right? There's reporters that go there, but the elites, most of the elites, they get a white badge. This white badge opens the door to literally anything they want to do in the city. Night parties, it opens all doors. White badge. Then for press, they have they have orange badges. They also have purple badges. They have purple and orange badges. And so everything is just classist, let's just say. And so Klaus Schwab is like the massive head of the World Economic Forum. And so these people are the elites. And in some of what's very ironic is that in some of their ideology, they want equal outcome, right? But they say that, hey, we need to tax the rich. We need to fix the economy because the coronavirus has exposed how the rich are getting richer and how the poor are getting poorer. Well, this is kind of ironic coming from these people who are the elite of the elite. Like, this is the top 1%. The top percent of the 1%. And it's wild what these people say and what they believe in when they are the most privileged people that have ever graced this earth. But yes, back to capitalism. They basically want to enact a form of corporate fascism as well as communism. They want the government to have more control over what you own, over what you have, over your physical possessions, and they want companies to also have control over what you own and over you. They want you to be fully dependent on government and on these multinational corporate entities. They want to reset everything. They're super pro climate not pro climate change, pro fixing climate change. So they have said that they want to fix climate change. They want to solve climate change, but they also want to harness the fourth industrial revolution. What is the fourth industrial revolution? Well, the fourth industrial revolution is basically automation. The fourth industrial revolution is massive control of AI. The fourth industrial revolution is huge control of just the shift to digitalization. It's the shift to everything digital. And so they say that they want to increase jobs for people. They want to fix the economy. Well, how are they going about that? Well, they want to enact the fourth industrial revolution, which means the digitalization, the automation of everything, of jobs, which, what is that going to lead to? That's going to lead to people losing their job. Okay. Yeah, I bet you've heard this. You've heard this from our president, from Justin Trudeau, from, I think, the president in France. I'm not sure on that statistic, on that fact, but you've heard this. Build Back Better. Build Back Better is a slogan from Davos. It is a slogan that they use, that Joe Biden has used to, it implies lots of things. So they want to tackle the climate crisis. They want full control of everything in private property. They want to strip away your private property. They want to take away the actual capitalism. When you have capitalism, there's an ability. When you have your shareholder capitalism, there's an ability there is a chance for upward mobility. You are able to start a business, and then you're able to make that a public business and have people buy your shares, and then you increase the profit of that. But they want to do the opposite. They want to harness all the control and then keep you down, keep you dependent on them. The whole idea is dependency. Keeping the power up to these few elites. And they've stated in a commercial that the World Economic Forum had. They said, be ready to not have anything in 2030. Be ready to have no privacy, that you will own nothing, you will have nothing, you will have no freedoms, but you will be happy. They say you will own nothing and you will be happy. I don't know about you, but I like having stuff. Sometimes I wish I didn't, but I enjoy having a sketchbook. I enjoy having an iPad. I enjoy having a house. I enjoy having a car. I enjoy having a Lego Boba Fett. I enjoy being able to paint. I enjoy all of these things, and that's because I have the freedom to do it, and I am able to own things. But what will happen? They want to take that away. Some of the people here, they want to push 100%. They okay. So the climate crisis. A few ways that they want to tackle this climate crisis, which is disastrous. I'm not saying that climate change or that the climate crisis, global warming, is fake. It absolutely is happening. But the way they want to push this and the way they want to solve this is going to lead to way more damage than if we take simpler measures and more strategic measures that will not lead to mass depopulation. Okay, so they want to switch 100% to synthetic beef. They want sustainable, healthy foods. So they want to switch to synthetic beefs. What does that mean? They think cows are the huge evil because they produce methane. Well, if you research what they feed these cows and why they produce methane, is because cows don't usually eat corn, and most of the time, pretty much the majority of these methane cows eat corn. They're force-fed corn. They have four stomachs. Their four stomachs are made to digest grass, not corn. They're not meant to digest corn. And so when they digest corn in massive quantities that they're force-fed, they're going to produce methane. And so the solution isn't to switch 100% to synthetic beef. It's to make it grass-fed to improve the situation for these cows so that they're not force-fed corn, which will lead to methane production in their stomachs. They want to, if you've heard of the Green New Deal, they want to basically press a button and stop all carbon emissions, they want zero carbon energy. They basically want to turn off everything that electricity, everything that you will have. You won't be able to drive your cars, you won't be able to have electricity. People at hospitals will die because they won't have the gas to turn on their life supports. You will not be able to produce plastics, you will not be able to produce metals, you will not be able to produce basically anything because everything runs on gas, everything runs on oil, everything runs on petrol. And they want to just stop that because it creates carbon emissions. So they have a theme. Most of the time they say, do not let a good crisis go to waste. They want to re-engineer science, reinvigorate education. They want to revamp education into these crazy wild ideas. that will not do any good to anybody. They want green everything. They want green energy, carbon zero, waste to zero. They want to incinerate green tech. They want a post-industrial revolution, which is the fourth industrial revolution. They want to get rid of the post-industrial revolution, and they want zero carbon emissions. And so I was doing some research, and I was looking at what economists believe is going to happen if this happens. If they switch to automation for everything and zero carbon emissions, which I'm not sure how they're going to make that happen, which they want automation, but they also want to stop carbon emissions. It's kind of, I guess they would switch to solar power, to water, to hydraulics, to air, but that still requires gas if you look at. Anyways, a German economist, I didn't write his name, but this was by Breitbart. This was an article by Breitbart. Dr. Anthony Mueller, a professor of economics at the Federal University of Sergipe in Brazil, says that the Chinese coronavirus pandemic is being used as a cover by the globalist elite to destroy small business and hasten a new world order based on expertocracy, climate, green religion, and brutal depopulation. This globalist elite, inspired by the World Economic Forum's Build Back Better campaign for a fourth industrial revolution and the United States Agenda of 2030, are killing Main Street, together with thousands of jobs by keeping economies across the Western world in near permanent lockdown. So they say that capitalism has been shown to be inferior and has been shown to be weak. But it's not capitalism that is the reason why the economy is crashing. It's because of the government locking down. It's because the government is stopping the ability of small businesses to be open. Look, for example, New York. They were stopping gyms from being open. But you know what was open? Walmart. Walmart was open. The grocery stores were open. H-E-B was open. These banks were open. Well, not really, but banks were closed. But you get the idea. They forced closed gyms. They were arresting people that kept their gyms open against commands, against government ordinances, because if not, these people are going to die because they don't have money. They're going to become depressed. Nobody talks about how these lockdowns have led to mass suicide because of depression, because there's no human-to-human interaction. Thankfully, I don't live in New York, because that would be awful. But we're seeing a destruction of the economy in all of these Western countries because of these lockdowns. 2020 and 2021 have been hugely influential. These stimulus checks are going to lead to massive inflation, hyperinflation. We're already seeing the price of corn go up, the price of wood go up, the price of steel go up. I was watching a podcast earlier today on Tim Pool, I highly recommend watching Tim Pool, watching Russell Brand, his series on the Great Reset. But I was watching Tim Pool, and he was talking about how he couldn't get anything built. He's trying to build a farm, or build a shed, a barn, and he can't build it because steel isn't available, wood isn't available. Wood is stupid expensive, like crazy expensive right now. It's gone up 10 times. These basic necessities, milk has gone up, the cost of eggs have gone up, the cost of corn has gone up, and once corn starts going up, corn will affect everything, because they feed corn to chickens, they feed corn to cows, they feed corn to all of these animals. It's a key ingredient to many, many things. So once you see corn going up, you'll know that the economy is screwed. Inflation is going up. People are dumping money into cryptocurrencies because they don't trust the U.S. dollar. You see China disrespecting the United States because China's flourishing right now. They've been flourishing for the past few years because the U.S. has stopped producing anything of value, and it's cheaper to send things over to China than to the United States. So the Western bastion of freedom, which is the United States, is struggling. I feel like it's at a near precipice, and it's the perfect time for the Great Reset to happen, or for them to pump the idea of the Great Reset, because people are clearly suffering. And so people say, oh, equal opportunity. Not equal opportunity, equal outcome. Yes. Well, what does equal outcome mean? Equal outcome means that they're going to take away, even if you're a doctor, it's basically communism. You're a doctor and you work 40 or 80 hours a week, you're going to get paid the exact same as a fast food worker who works 20 hours a week. That's equal outcome. it's not equal opportunity. I believe in equal opportunity. The capitalism that we have right now is equal opportunity. Everybody has a chance to take a loan out from the bank and start a business, or you can start a podcast like I'm doing right now, where you have these opportunities to succeed, and that's what the United States has shown and has been under the free market. But what's happening now is the government is taking over, and it's allowing these certain companies to remain open, these certain multinational companies to remain open, but keeping these small businesses and keeping the ability to start a small business closed. And it's very damaging to the economy, and it's a K-shaped recovery. The rich are just getting richer, and the poor are just getting poorer, and that is what's happening. So an Indian economist, her name, not an economist, an Indian activist, her name is Vandana Shiva. She's really cool. I recommend you look for her. Research her. She's been fighting these multinational companies colonizing the agricultural aspect of African countries and Indian countries, and India, not Indian countries, because India is a country. But she's been fighting this, and she's talked a lot about the Great Reset, on how it's gonna be more damaging. And so here she says, the Great Reset is about maintaining and empowering a corporate extraction machine and the private ownership of life, she told Jeremy Lafredo of The Defender. The Great Reset is about multinational corporate stakeholders at the World Economic Forum controlling as many elements of planetary life as they possibly can, from digital data humans produce to the morsel of food we eat. The Great Reset, the World Economic Forum. It's not surprising that. So what's super annoying is that the World Economic Forum, they said, it's not surprising that people who have been disenfranchised by a broken system and pushed even further by the pandemic will suspect global leaders of a conspiracy. They're blaming the system for their own pushing of this horrible agenda, and they're saying, oh no, we have good intentions, we have great intentions, we need to talk about getting rid of or making the middle class bloom, we need to fix the economy, we need to help lower class people because they're struggling right now during the economy. And what's happening right now during the economy is that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. So there's a huge hypocrisy in what they say. In 2016, as I mentioned before, they released a video where it boasted about a future where no one owned any property. It said, welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. Last year, the World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab even wrote a book about the pandemic. I read part of the book. I read maybe 4 chapters of the book. It's 180 pages. It was I think 180 pages. I was gonna read it for this podcast. I read the beginning of it. But it was crazy how he said this. This was in June 2020 when he wrote this. He said, he's a German dude. I would do the accent, but I can't do the accent. But he said, many of us are pondering when things will return to normal. The short response is never. Nothing will ever return to the broken sense of normalcy that prevailed prior to the crisis, because the coronavirus pandemic marks a fundamental inflection point in our global trajectory. But what most people want actually is they want is not a new normal, but to get their old lives back as quickly as possible. Neither Schwab nor the people pushing the Great Reset appear to understand this. In one of their latest videos, it said, so we can move to a better world. One of the curious aspects of the video is his criticism that since the pandemic, the ultra-rich have gotten richer and the poor poorer. At the beginning of 2020, 1% of the world's population owned 40% of the wealth. Since the start of the pandemic, billionaires have increased their riches by more than 25%, while 150 million of the poorest have fallen back into extreme poverty. This is just, it's annoying that these people are blatantly pushing this crazy agenda that ignorant people say, oh, this sounds amazing, we need to fix the economy, we need to fix climate change, we need to fix global warming. But they don't look into what this actually means. They say, as a part of the Great Reset, we needed to support the transition into a more fair, a more sustainable post-COVID world. Companies have responsibilities and a rare opportunity to rethink their organizational and workspace structures, to invest in their workforces of core drivers into long-term resilience and future success. All I hear is we need more control, we need more power, we need more influence in people's lives. People have too much freedom. They have too much ability to choose what they want to do and what they have to buy and what they enjoy. These people have too much freedom. It's people don't look. People just see what's good, or they see the grammar. When I was reading the COVID-19 book by Klaus Schwab. It says it's called COVID-19: The Great Reset. It sounded amazing. It sounded incredible, and that's what's messed up about it, is that it sounds great, but once you look into it, it's not great. They push their agenda is crazy. Their agenda is just not altruistic. It's altruistic. It sounds incredible, but it's not. It's not. And so claims so. Trust us, we're not evil, claims Davos World Economic Forum Great Reset promo video. It's a globalist master plan. They even admit that it sounds like some nefarious plan for world domination, but nothing could be more further from the truth, as the video insists. The Great Reset is simply an opportunity to build a better world. Well, it's just annoying. It's just this idea that everything needs to be fixed, and it's the government's responsibility and it's private businesses' responsibility to fix the world. That's not how you do it, because clearly it hasn't worked. Look at, for example, I'm going to use Bill Gates. I did some research on Bill Gates. And he's promised to fix, sorry about the but he's promised to fix starvation and poverty in India. And he said, hey, let's use my genetically modified seeds to increase agriculture. And he promised this. And this is from The Defender. Bill Gates and Neo-Feudalism, a closer look at Farmer Bill. In 2020, a study, False Promises, the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, concludes that the number of Africans suffering from extreme hunger has increased by 30% in the 18 countries that Gates targeted. So clearly these people, they say, oh, we can fix everything, but clearly they can't. It's not their responsibility to fix this. It's not the government's responsibility to influence every aspect of your life. It's not. Look at the stimulus packages. The stimulus checks have made people fully dependent on the government. People are getting paid more by the stimulus and by unemployment than jobs. Jobs are struggling right now. McDonald's, they're paying like $50 just for an interview. This is wild what we're seeing. These people have grown so dependent on the government and on it's just messed up. These people don't have the best. If they had the best intention in mind, they wouldn't create these foundations which are tax exempt. Bill Gates, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they got $1 billion worth of a tax credit. They didn't have to pay taxes because of their philanthropy, because of their solving global hunger and starting vaccines. If these people really want to fix things, then they need to stop buying private jets. They need to stop buying up land everywhere. They need to take the first step. They need to take initiative. They're preaching all of this, but they're not practicing what they preach. And that's my huge issue with the Great Reset, is that these people do not practice what they preach. They talk about all of this. Okay, you talk about it's just annoying. Sorry if I'm ranting right now, but they're not altruistic. Their plans are not altruistic. They want a totalitarian world takeover in which the tiny elite will control every aspect of the lives of ordinary people, reducing them to the status of medieval serfs. It's just annoying. I feel the elites. It's just annoying. And they have Klaus Schwab, Klaus Schwab praises China during the coronavirus. He says, "Oh, China did an incredible job. They were able to lock the virus down and stop the transmission." Well, guess what? China's a communist country with an authoritarian fist. They were, from what I've read of the reports, they were building mounds of dirt, not letting people in or out of cities in China. They were sealing people in their rooms. They were doing these horrific human rights violations. And Klaus Schwab is praising them. Look at Justin Trudeau the other day. I think it was last week maybe. He said, "Oh, sometimes I wish," I'm paraphrasing of course, but, "Oh, sometimes I wish we could be like China, because then we could take control and stop the spread of coronavirus." These people are messed up, and they're the ones showing or wanting these plans. They had Xi Jinping at the World Economic Forum, and his video garnered 19,000 views for his admittedly uninspiring speech. Comments have been disabled by the World Economic Forum for all its panel discussion, suggesting that it is perfectly aware that most would be negative. The Xi speech has so far got nearly 400 thumbs ups, but 1,001 thumbs down. I expect the ratio would be greater if anybody bothered to watch it. These people are blatant. The green agenda is the Great Reset. It's just annoying, you know. I've been, with all the research that I've done. I'm sorry, I'm ranting right now. I guess I'll structure it where I'm laying out the groundwork of the podcast, and then I'll just rant for the last bit of it. But look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez with her Green New Deal. It's a bill, and it's like 6 pages long, I think, and it's wild. It's wild what they want to do. Okay, so if the U.S. had remained a signatory, it would have ceded huge competitive advantage to favored economies like India, China. Okay, so basically, this is about the Paris Accords. Even if the country in the world sticks to its own carbon reduction target agreed at Paris in the Paris Accords, the best case scenario is that they might reduce global warming by the end of the century by 0.170 degrees Celsius. The difference is so small that it is barely measurable and certainly not noticeable, at a cost of the global economy of perhaps $1.5 trillion per year. It's just annoying. These people push these nonsensical ideas to sound like they want to do something, but they don't do anything. They don't care. All they want is power. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And it'll affect everything. Everything. Yeah. I think I'm going to end it here. I recommend, sources that I use Breitbart, I use The Defender, I used, what else? I mean, if anybody wants it, you can send me a message on Instagram at monkeyswithmouths.podcast, or I'm going to start making other social media. I'm going to make a Twitter for it. I'm going to make an email for this podcast. But let me know if you want the sources. I'll gladly send sources. And yeah, I think concluding thoughts, this is a global agenda that these people want to push to supposedly fix the world, but in reality it does more damage to the world, and it keeps the power in these elites, and they are trying to use semantic vocabulary. They're trying to use vocabulary on ignorant people to push this agenda, to make it sound all great and all good, and they just want more control, to be able to have more control. I'm scratching the surface on. I've just scratched the surface on the Great Reset. There's something deeper, something deeper in why these people do what they do that I want to find out. I don't know if I'll find it out. But it's just, yeah. I don't know. I think they're kooky. They're crazy. Um, their agenda will never work. It'll lead to more suffering, more pain and suffering for the common folk than good. To me, I grew up in a socialist country, a democratic socialist country, and seeing the control that the government has, it's kind of scary. Looking at Colombia right now, as of May 6th, 2021, at 11:30 p.m. that I'm watching it right now, these countries, the governments have so much power, and they've militarized the police, and they're taxing, and they're enacting tax reforms, which are wild, and people are rioting and protesting. Well, people are protesting. They rioted the first night, but people are protesting, and the cops are fully militarized. They're burning down buildings. They're murdering people on the spot because people are protesting tax, and they're protesting because they can't live. They're under lockdown. They can't live. They can't survive. They can't feed their families. These places, and the people want to give the government more power. People think, oh, the government can solve these issues. We're going to start a commission. We're going to start these government programs to fix all of these issues. Can't you see that the government is causing all of these problems? The federal government is causing all of these problems. The control, the power. Government takes control. It never gives up. You will never see, or you will rarely see, a time where government releases control. Once they take control, they're like a freaking, what's something that clamps? Not a crab, like I'm thinking of a, I don't know. But yeah, they don't give up control, and the more control these people have, the more crazy they'll become. The more these private companies are more powerful than countries. 50 or 100, I think it was 25 or 50 companies are more powerful than most countries. Then their growth, their net worth is more than most countries. Their influence in some of these companies or some of these foundations' influence is not only with economic power, but it's in agriculture, it's in health, it's in pharmaceutics, it's in technologies, it's in vehicles, it's in your cell phones, everything. They have huge stakes in everything, and so their power is massive. But what they forget is that they're just the 1%. If the 99% of regular people rise up, there's nothing that they can do. Yes, maybe they outclass all of us in money, but they do not outclass us in people. And so if just a few of us, or if just a massive amount of us, stand up and say, hey, no, this isn't going to happen. We don't want this to happen. This is just going to lead to more suffering and more corruption. Then it's not going to happen. These people will be scared, and they're just blatant about what they want. But people are so focused on Kim Kardashian. Oh, Kim Kardashian is getting divorced from Kanye. Oh, bikini photos. This bikini lady wore a bikini somewhere. Let me check CNN right now to see what's trending. I bet it's something super stupid. Or let's go to CNN right now. What people are focused on instead of, let's see. But yeah, if you look at CNN, for example, they have a bunch of bullcrap in their main topics because they don't care. This is all gaslighted. This is all ignored, and I think that's what bothers me the most. But if you enjoy, if you're at all interested, let me send you to a few people. I recommend looking up Russell Brand. You may find him a little crazy, but Russell Brand is a good. He's making a good series. Look up Vandana Shiva. She talks about the agriculture, how these countries don't really care, or how these companies don't really care about the common folk and don't really care about helping the economy. If not, they'd be doing different stuff differently. They'd be helping the economy in different ways. look up Dr. Joseph Mercola. I think that's his name. He talks a little bit about the Great Reset. There's a few videos on the Great Reset. Look up Alex Jones. Even Alex Jones, he's been talking about the Great Reset. It may be crazy what he says, some of the stuff he says, but he's not wrong in a lot of what he says. But yeah, I think for the next maybe 5 minutes, I want to talk about what I mean to do for this podcast and what I want to do for this podcast. This episode has been mainly focused on elites being evil, and I don't want to just be a doom and gloomer. I want to bring hope to people, I guess. So I also want to talk about my faith. I want to talk about politics, which is not always great, but I want to talk about politics. I want to talk about science. I want to talk about cryptocurrencies. I'm not super informed on cryptocurrencies, but I just want to talk about things I like. I want to talk about history. I want to talk about, on Fridays, I want to have something called Funky Friday. I want to talk about conspiracy theories, just crazy stuff. I want to talk about art. Look at the beautiful painting that I made. Audio listeners won't be able to see it, or hear it. I guess see it. But I have a painting that I painted, which is of a monkey. For monkeys with mouth. I'm going to paint it again. I'm going to talk about books that I'm reading, which are super interesting. I want to talk about pop culture. I want to talk about life. What it's like to be a man in this world. What's it like to be Latino or to grown up in a socialist country. I want to talk about, some of the topics that I have are, I want to talk about ancient history, ancient theorized history. I want to talk about the economy. I want to talk about historical figures. I want to talk about controversial topics, controversial issues. I want to talk about things that people normally don't talk about. I want to talk about ethics, morality, logic, scientific truths, historical truth, philosophical truths, philosophy. I want to talk about nutrition, working out, why it's important to work out. I want to talk about all this different stuff because that's what I'm interested in. And I hope that people can, or you guys can listen to this and just enjoy what I'm talking about. Sometimes I have a very bouncy mind, and so I will jump from topic to topic. I've done a ton of research on a ton of stuff, and I have a ton of knowledge up here in my noggin, but I need keywords or key situations so that I can remember these aspects. So I'm sorry if I jump around a lot. I'm going to be working on that. I want to have guests over. I want to have a friend who is super a freaking genius. He's a genius in faith, in historical faith, in religion. I want to have a pastor's on. I want to have my uncle who is a Marine or a Special Forces Green Beret Army medic on. I want to have my friends on. I want to talk about crazy stuff. I want to talk about what it's like being a 18-year-old in this world. I want to talk about jobs. I want to have all these. I want to talk about all this stuff and why it's interesting to me. And I hope you guys are along for the ride. I hope you enjoyed this first episode. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. Hopefully you understood, you got something out of it. And if you didn't get something out of it, well, I'm sorry. That sucks to suck. But yeah, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys in episode 2, which is super exciting. I'm super excited for the topic. It's going to be very interesting, and I think you guys will enjoy it. So yeah, whenever you're listening, have a great rest of whatever.